I got my aura read at a press party the other night.
What did they say?
Well, it was a weird process. I thought that they literally just take your picture, but they like they put your hands on like these metal. Honestly, it was kind of giving Scientology.
Yeah. It's not the thesis.
I don't know what they're called, but I have held them.
That's very LA of you.
I went with my friends for our community college photography class.
To take pictures of Scientologists?
So the Scientology Museum there's lots of them, but the like Scientology headquarters on Hollywood Boulevard. I don't know if it's still here in this capacity.
The big blue one? The building? Yeah.
Big blue one. They have in their basement a full museum.
Oh.
That like that we at the time signed up and took a private tour of.
Wow.
That was an option. Now, obviously, the private tour is to convince you to join Scientology.
Of course.
And I kind of thought, this was dumb of me. I didn't really understand. I thought that we would kind of be given free roam of the museum. And so I brought my camera because I was like, oh, this is perfect. The assignment was like to photograph a culture that's like very separate from your own or something.
Uh-huh.
So I was like, perfect. I'm going to photograph.
You thought you could open like a secret door and then just walk around?
No, I thought that it would be like a museum where they'd be like, and thank you, and please enjoy yourself. And then we'd get to just walk around. No, but there was a guide with us the entire time.
Well, they're hiding people in there. That's why.
Well, I don't think they're hiding anyone in that particular location because that is like the tourist one. Because I've been in there a lot of times. I'm probably on some list. But I also took a boy that I was dating in high school there one time. But they had like a room full of DVDs about Scientology that you could just take.
Right.
Like it was like a Blockbuster level collection.
Okay.
In the back of this building. So like the top floor you could kind of just walk around.
Right.
Because then I brought the Scientology DVDs home and then me and the boy I was dating watched them.
And was it like, you should join because we're awesome?
It was like more insidious than that. More subtle. It was just like documentaries about like faux science, but like it was real. And actually the worst part was my friend and I, we brought her little cousin who was 16 at the time, and we did not prep her beforehand about Scientology. We were just like, oh, we're going to go to this like kind of silly museum.
Okay.
And then cut to an hour and a half into this 3-hour private guided tour.
Wow.
Yeah. It was a big commitment. Like it was like this woman was being held hostage, clearly. Like you are right that they're keeping people in there, but they're the people working the front desk.
Yes.
She was having us try holding the metal prong things that tell you about your emotions or whatever. And it like makes the machine swing as you answer questions.
It
and
begins with a T. It's like, it's not thesis reader. It's like something reader.
Yeah. We should Google it, but I don't want to because I don't want to like awaken my name on the list again.
The algorithm does not need to know.
Yeah. But she was like, wow, this is really amazing. And then we left and she was like, Scientology's kind of cool, guys. And we were like, oh no, they got you. Because you're 16 and your brain's malleable.
No.
I know. She's okay, I think.
Okay, good. So what did your aura reading have?
Oh, yes. My aura reading was like, honestly, she kind of nailed it. But I just don't believe. I just feel like those people are really good at like, first of all, we were at a press event where everyone there was an influencer or a writer.
Mm-hmm.
And so they could easily deduce. They were like, oh, you're a creative of some kind.
Yeah, no shit.
What kind? And I was like, oh, I'm a writer. And then from there, it informs, the way they kind of read it. So they were like, you're working on something right now. Like, you're really in your head about it, but you're in the manifestation phase and you're going to produce it. And so that was like my orange. I was like really orange. I will say before we took the photos, like way before, Danielle asked me what colors I thought my aura would be. And I said, people always tell me orange. And she was like, that's so funny. I would have told you yellow, I think. And then so my colors were orange, yellow, like a bluey purple above me, and then like a green area in my chest area. But I was wearing green. So I'm like, did the machine just pick up on the fact that I was wearing green and like project it?
That's fascinating.
Honestly, my biggest complaint about the process was they put the hand plates like quite low in the booth, but then they make you stand. I was like hunched over.
That would have been fine for me. You're just too tall. I saw Death Becomes Her on Tuesday.
Oh my God, how was it?
It was good. So
was my theory right that you should look up the lyrics ahead of time because I could not understand what the fuck they were saying.
So I was like in the back of the orchestra.
Uh-huh.
And the first act, there's an intermission. The first act, I hear 10% of everything they're saying. I was like, that's unfortunate.
Yeah.
But I was like, you know what? The dances are good. The vibes are pretty. I'm sort of catching on to what's happening because, you know, it's very theatrical. It's very acty. So
Yeah.
I'm watching and I'm like, oh, okay. She stole the husband. Great. Okay. She's going to take the person. Great.
It's not a hard show to follow.
It's not hard to follow.
It's no Slam Frank.
But then intermission happens. I go get a snack with Leo. Hi, Leo, if you're listening. And then in this tiny, tiny little corner, they say, captioning available. And I'm like, so there's nothing at the entrance?
Right.
So I go talk to this woman. I'm like, hi, I see you have captioning. And she was like, yeah, you have to download the app. It took the full intermission to download this stupid Gallaudet Pro app. I hate this app.
Also, don't make people who need captioning have to be on their phones during the show.
Open an app, download an app, open an account in an old building where there's no Wi-Fi because everyone is using their phones at intermission.
Right.
Like, there's no data.
Oh my God.
So I was like frantically using my 15 minutes of intermission to download this app. And then I had to connect to like the theater Wi-Fi and they gave me a password. I'm doing that. And then the captions worked about 70% of the time. The other 30%, it was either too fast or too slow. Overall, not my favorite experience, but the show itself was great. Like, I would love to see it again with ASL or some other better access. I was so scared to use my phone. This was fine because I was in the back of the orchestra, but Patti LuPone was in like a play or musical a couple years ago. Fairly
Likely
recent.
place for her to be.
Likely place for her to be. But someone in the front where she could see was using their phone to read captions, and she thought the audience member was just on their phone being stupid, and she called them out. Stopped the play and called them out. Extremely unprofessional. But then she made herself look so stupid because this person was just reading the captions for this play. And that, friends, is my worst nightmare.
Yeah.
I was in row V at the orchestra, so I knew no one was going to see me. But I was like, what if? I was afraid someone behind me was going to be like, excuse me, get off your phone.
Well, and the thing is like, I've said that to people in theaters before. But like, what, especially for like ushers and stuff. Like, I've been to shows where the ushers are really strict. First of all, I think that they need to have real captioning devices, although those don't really work either. So first they need to make a captioning device that works.
Or ASL interpretation at
that
more
would be
than
great.
one show. I saw O'Mary with ASL interpretation. I think that's been the only show booked for O'Mary with ASL interpretation. And the show's been on for 2 years now.
Yeah.
A lot of organizing, to be fair, especially when there's multiple characters. And I'm sure a musical is even harder. Because O'Mary, they hire 4 interpreters, I think, 3 or 4. And, you know, they have to coordinate with the actors and whatnot. But
it
then
seems
once
like once
do
they've
that,
done all that work, then they should make that like...
Yeah. You put the same amount of effort in as you would rehearsing to do a Broadway show.
Right.
So why not
do it for just one night?
all that work for just one night?
Yeah.
Yeah. I love supporting the theater industry. I just wish they made it a little easier for me.
Absolutely. Also, if you haven't seen a show with ASL interpretation or like a show like Deaf West where it's completely woven in to the story, it's amazing.
Yeah.
Highly recommend.
Even if you don't need the ASL interpretation, if you see, like, if you live in New York and you see that, like, Chicago or something has ASL interpretation, but you don't care about ASL, you should buy the ticket for that day to encourage them to continue doing that.
Okay, good to know. Because I, so far, have been hesitant to do that because, in my mind, if it sells out, I don't want to take a seat from someone who genuinely is not going to enjoy the show otherwise.
When you sit, it's a very designated area, like in front of the ASL interpreter. So if you don't need the ASL interpreter, maybe don't get a seat at, I don't know, stage right, row G.
Right. Okay, got it.
But, like, if you go get anywhere else and you just support that night, I think that's huge.
Good to know.
Okay. Do you want to get to the show?
Let's do it.
This is Season 1, Episode 17, Protect Me From What I Want.
Okay, I did not Google the painting.
This is Jenny Holzer. This is the very first contemporary art piece that the show is referenced. And this aired February 14, 2012, Valentine's Day, which is very timely considering what happens in this episode.
Tell me.
Because Bay and Emmett say, I love you to each other at the end.
I hated that.
We'll get to it.
I hated it so. He's being such a baby.
Hugh's being kind of a dick.
Like, Bay deserves better. But then also, yeah. Okay. They're fighting about Ty.
It was gone months ago. Anyway, it's Jenny Holzer. Do you know who she is?
You keep saying that name. I think I should, but I don't in this moment.
She's like a contemporary artist. She's still alive. She did like a lot of public art with these truisms or just like random quotes. Also referenced in this episode because the art gallery guy, Patrick, mentions her.
Oh my god.
So
Okay.
I think that's why they named this episode Protect Me From What I Want.
Okay, I have a question for you that I'm scared to ask and
Please.
answer. Do we think that every single episode has made some subtle, but like also direct reference to the paintings and we're just picking up on them now? Or do you think they just decided to start doing this?
I think they just decided to start doing this.
I'm getting increasingly nervous that we've just missed the first 15. Obviously in the first episode this is not a pipe.
Right.
And they're very direct about that.
Expulsion from the Garden of Eden. They never directly reference the art piece or the artist. We just know that Angela was expelled.
That's true. I do think Bay makes some kind of comment like you think he's the devil. I don't
So
want to
what
stretch.
if he's the devil?
Exactly.
At least the devil has a job.
I need you to watch that episode now.
I will. Okay, well, we start off with Buckner. This coach is once again in the girls' locker room.
Yeah, why?
This male coach is
I hate him.
He sucks in this episode, and just in general. He sucks. But he's like, by the way, basketball playoffs are coming up, and you girls are going to do scrimmages against one another. And Daphne is going to be going for small forward, and Simone is going to be going for point guard. That's all you need to know right now.
Okay. Thank you for handling that. When it got to all the basketball stuff, I said,
I was like,
Kara's
I got you.
it.
I got you.
I did write down Daphne saying, nobody's better at posting up than she is. That really got me.
I had to remind myself what posting up is. Basically, you dribble the ball, and you go to the basket, right? And then posting up is just going to one side of the basket, and you just like have your feet spread, and you're trying to be firm on your feet, and then go on your feet and get the ball in the hoop, basically.
And they needed to hire a private coach to teach Daphne how to do that?
It does take some skill. It takes a lot of footwork.
Okay.
Small forwards also have to do a lot of rebounds. Rebound just means getting the ball in case it doesn't go in the hoop. You have to get it and then throw it back in the hoop, hopefully. That's the goal.
Wow, I'm learning so much.
Yeah. Anyway, we're at the Kennish house now.
And Emmett's back.
Emmett's back, eating them out of house and home.
A growing boy.
He's got like a whole basket of grapes and cheese and crackers and whatnot.
Basically charcuterie.
Yeah, he's eating just like a glorified charcuterie boy, except everything's straight from the fridge.
Deconstructed
Charcuterie board. And Bay apologizes to him for yelling at him about his dad. And he's like, whatever. This is
Yeah, he does
another
not care
point. He's in
anymore.
a good mood because he has his emotional support food.
Yes. Oh my God. Emmett's always
He's
so
always
much
in a-
happier when he's eating.
Yeah. Also, probably because his father is not feeding him.
Yes, because Bay then says,
Like, they don't feed you at home. Either he has to cook for himself or he's just getting takeout or something.
and
but
we
the,
know Emmett's not cooking for himself.
No, but the poor guy is hungry, and he's a growing boy. Catherine comes into the kitchen. She is thrilled to see him. And she's
Yeah.
like, let me whip you up an actual dinner. Some rosemary garlic chicken, which sounds really good.
That does sound nice.
She says it only takes 15 minutes, which sounds really fast to me.
Yeah, that...
But I also never cook chicken.
Do we think Catherine Kennish is a good cook?
Yes.
Think about
Chili,
the
maybe
cultural
not.
context.
I think she's good at, like, white people cooking.
Okay. I guess-
Rosemary and garlic are pretty... I think they can afford nice, fresh ingredients, so they use, like, a lot of fresh herbs and whatnot.
Yeah.
Like, fancy, organic, free-range chicken.
Yeah.
And I think she's also Italian, and she did mention her grandmother is from Italy. And the Italians are notoriously pretty good at cooking. The fact that rosemary and garlic are going together with this meal, though, tells me that this might be pretty good.
I mean, I think Emmett's gonna think it's delicious regardless.
He's starving.
He's starving. I'm just thinking about, like, how excited all the Kennishes are when Daphne cooks now.
Oh my god, that's right.
So I guess it's my running theory. It's like you don't care about A Court of Thorns and Roses series.
I never read it.
Within the fandom, there's a running bit because the main character is like a painter, and that's like a huge arc for her, is that she like doesn't paint when she's in a bad place, and then she starts painting again when she's in a good place. Anyway, the way that these paintings are described implies that she is not actually a good painter. So it's like a running bit in the fandom that everyone's just like pretending for her to support her journey. And that's kind of how I feel about Catherine Kenish's cooking.
Going back to the rosemary garlic chicken, Catherine is signing up a storm.
Yeah.
It's not that great, but she's trying. I really liked when she signed school like a crocodile.
She's very stiff. She's a very stiff signer.
But she's trying.
Yeah. It's something that is true, I believe, to the actress because it remains true throughout the whole show.
Yeah. Catherine is signing to Emmett, asking how's life, and then he's like, good, taking classes. I'm taking a photography class at school right now. And one of my assignments is I actually have to take a family portrait pic. But I can't do my own family because they're killing each other. So Catherine's like, well, what if you took a family portrait of us? And Bay is acting like,
this is the worst idea
in the world, but I think it's a sweet idea.
Yeah, and he also says, he can't use his family, and it's sad, and...
Yeah, he starts miming, like, choking and killing.
And Bay's like, I didn't realize it was that bad.
Yeah. He doesn't go into details, but it just seems like Cameron and Melody had a very tumultuous relationship.
Yeah, but Bay is really against this, and Catherine says, it's either this, or we could invite him to Sound of Music night.
And he could be Kurt.
Okay, is Kurt the one that becomes a Nazi? Is Kurt the one in You Are 16 Going on 17? Which, by the way, now when hearing that song, concerning.
Why?
Innocent as a rose.
Ew.
And he's older. It's weird.
Kurt's the youngest boy.
Okay. So no. If he's a Von Trapp child, then no.
Kurt is 10 but almost 11, the youngest boy. Kurt is sensitive and pretends not to be hurt by his father's absence.
Guys, Kurt does not become a Nazi.
Well...
No, because they all flee.
Well, it's Liesel, who's the daughter.
Yeah.
Who's the one that becomes...
The boy that she's seeing.
Ralph Gruber.
Oh, yeah, that's a Nazi name.
Yeah.
Yeah. Tough.
Anyway, okay, next scene. Regina's at the hair salon wearing purple yet again.
Yeah, I guess she's still working at Geraldo's even after...
Yeah.
I guess he never caught wind that she fully signed a lease and opened a salon.
Well, maybe she said, by the way, the salon didn't work out. And he said, slay.
And he hired her back. I feel like
But he never fired her.
Yeah, but yeah, you're right. I don't know. Whatever. It happened off screen.
It happened off screen. Anyways, she has a client. She's doing his hair. His name is Patrick, and he's a gallery owner. And he sounds like he just moved to Kansas City, and he's hunting around for some artists to show. Regina, being a supportive mom for once, is like, well, what if you looked at my daughter Bay's art? She's very talented and cool.
Yeah, it was crazy even to hear her refer to Bay as her daughter.
I know.
I feel like we have not gotten this side of Regina's
at all
motherhood as of yet. So yeah, it was crazy.
It was.
And she shows him the mural that I guess they fixed, and guys, it's still ugly.
And you go, it's got some like Chicano socialist vibes.
Yeah, I guess I don't know enough about that specific art period to comment if that's true, but to me it was giving like steampunk birthday card.
Ooh, yeah.
So, or like, you know, those crayon paintings that people made in the 2010s. Yeah.
Like the melting.
Yeah, where you like take the hairdryer and you melt it. Oh my God, wait.
I did that.
I had to tell you.
Tell me.
Sorry, guys, and I don't think I'm going to cut this. I knew a woman when I was a teenager who was an artist, who was like a very LA pretentious, like husband was in the film industry. She was like, we're well connected. I'm having a gallery show. You have to come. And this was after knowing her for like a year, hearing about her art, hearing about her being an artist. So we go to the gallery show, and it is wall to wall, those crayon art paintings.
No.
Yes. All like preserved in resin, like portraits of like tigers with melted crayon and like sparkly, like art that would be inside of a bad Vegas hotel off strip.
I love that.
And I just had to be like completely straight-faced about it. So every time I see crayon art, I think of her.
Every time I think of art galleries and how weird they are, I think of Fleabag. Fleabag's stepmom, who has that gallery.
that was kind of the vibe of this crayon artist lady.
Yeah. Oh my God. I gotta rewatch Fleabag. Such a good show.
So good. Anyway, guys, so I felt like the mural was...
It does look like that.
a disappointment.
I remember distinctly hot gluing crayons to a white piece of cardboard and then hair drying it and then drawing some shit over it.
Yeah.
Wow. Yeah.
Rite of passage.
And then she like drew a cog.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's her mural, guys. Okay, now we're back at the Kennish house and we're in the kitchen with John and Catherine and Toby. And Catherine is interviewing Toby about the switch for her book.
Well, she's trying to.
Trying.
I think that she's going about this really wrong.
How so?
If I were Toby, I would not want to open up to my mom about this, especially not in our kitchen with my dad listening in.
Yeah, that's true.
And she's like, how do you feel about the switch? Like, that's her question. Like, I feel like if
Very
she wants...
open-ended.
Very open-ended. I feel like if she wants real intimate answers, she should let him, like, record voice memo responses to the questions and, like, promise him she's not... Because then he says, like, oh, it's been nice because I've kind of gotten to fly under the radar.
But I think...
And they're immediately like, no, we'll spend more time with you. We'll pay more attention to you. And it's like, you're not giving him a safe space to say how he feels without you guys, like, turning into parents about it.
No offense to Catherine, I think this was a bad interview.
Yes.
I think she really should have gotten into the nitty-gritty. Like, the second you found out Faye's blood test revealed that she wasn't related, how did you feel? Yeah.
Right, like, write out detailed questions and then let him answer them in voice memos on his own time. And then listen to them later. I feel like that's the only way he's gonna be, like, open and honest about how he feels.
I also like in this scene that John opens the fridge and he says, where did all our food go?
He's hungry. He's mad.
Yeah.
They say, we'll spend more time with you. Like, what do you want to do? Do you want to go skeet shooting?
Yes.
And Toby's like, no. And then he leaves. And then John goes, I think it was Bae that was into skeet shooting. There is no way Bae was the one that was into skeet shooting.
Is skeet shooting the same as clay shooting? Like, that you throw that thing in the air and then you shoot it?
I think so.
Okay. I've done it once.
Was it fun?
Yeah, I was really good at it.
Oh my God, are you a good shot?
I am. As someone who doesn't like guns, I was so good at it. As Regina says later, too.
She says, but I'm a pretty good shot.
Yeah.
Maybe it was Bae then. Who knows?
Yeah, maybe it's genetic.
Maybe.
Okay.
Now we're in the guest house.
Yes, in Daphne's bedroom. Simona's there.
And the scene opens with Daphne going, I look like a hoe.
She's wearing a very normal looking purple dress.
Very normal. Looks great on her.
And her hair is just like a little wavy.
Yeah.
They put some curls on.
Yeah. She looks not like a second grader for maybe the first time.
She looks like she's going to her cousin's bar mitzvah. That's the look.
You're right. God, Daphne's such a prude.
I was like, I wore that to go to the many bar mitzvahs I did in my hometown. Like a strapless dress that went right above the knee.
Yeah, it's like, it basically goes to the knee.
Yeah, she looks great, honestly. And purple's a nice color on her.
Yeah, and Simone says, I don't know why you're always hiding your arms and your legs. Like, you look great.
And Simone says what we were all thinking, which is you need to stop with the stripes and the oranges.
I guess I just wanted to take this moment, as much as I hate her, and I'm only going to hate her more as this episode goes on. Last episode, we did beg the universe, beg somebody to save Daphne from the orange and the stripes. And Simone stepped up.
Simone stepped up, thank you. Although Daphne does wear stripes again in this episode.
Yes, it's her, like, returning to herself.
To her roots. Then Regina comes into the bedroom, meets Simone, and she is freaked out by this dress. She's like, oh.
Yeah. Why?
I don't know.
Why is everyone trying to dress Daphne like a toddler?
I don't know.
Because Catherine is buying her these clothes. I know she likes them. I guess no one's reacting to Bae wearing, like, Bae loves, like, a booby lacy top.
Yeah, why can't Daphne
do that?
That's just not Daphne's style. And maybe Regina's just genuinely surprised to see her showing some skin.
It felt slut-shamey. I don't know.
It did feel very slut-shamey. But Simone...
But from Regina, that's, like, surprising. So maybe you're right.
I did not like it. It's a very uncomfortable scene. And Simone is being a little too overly friendly, I think, for someone who's meeting their friend's parent for the first time.
She's, like, trying a little hard.
Yeah, she's being a bit TMI, and she's like, she has an amazing body, like your body, Regina. I would die to have your boobs.
Yeah, it's a bit much.
I would never be commenting on my friend's mother's boobs, ever, personally. And then she's like, thank you for the invite to dinner, but I have to go get my vagina waxed, basically.
A lot of details.
Again, it's too much. And then she leaves and Regina signs. This is the first time they are not sim-comming, and that's because Simone is probably still in the apartment, like putting on her shoes to leave.
Yeah, I wrote it down too. I was like, this is huge. This is proof that they don't have to be doing what they're doing.
They really do not have to be sim-comming, guys.
And you know what? The scene was more engaging without them fucking talking.
It was awesome. But Regina's signs are all private school girls like that, but then the captions say are all Buckner girls like that. Interesting note. I wonder if there's a sign name for Buckner, considering that Daphne goes there all the time now.
I know, I feel like there should be.
I think there should be a sign name for Buckner, like there is for Carlton. But Carlton is school for the deaf, but whatever. Next scene. Catherine is showing old family portraits to Emmett, including a very insensitive portrait where Bay and Toby are dressed as Native Americans and John and Catherine are cowboys.
Oh my god, I did not catch that. I was trying to pause it for each family portrait, but I did not see that.
Oh yeah, it's quite insensitive. There's a pirate one that's pretty cute though.
The pirate one's cute.
And they said they did that because Toby fell and got scratches on his face, so they all did that to match.
Sweet.
That was sweet.
A family I grew up with, for their family photo one year, they got a dog that had a circle around his eye, and so for their family photo with the dog, they all put dark circles around their eyes.
It's cheesy, but it's cute.
It's cute.
And Emmett is loving this. He misses having a family, so he's adoring these photos.
Yeah.
Catherine is doing this thing, though, that drives me crazy, is that every time Emmett signs, she's interpreting it out loud.
Yeah.
This is what Bay did when she first started learning sign.
I think it's probably the director's way of showing that Catherine's still struggling to learn and understand.
I know, and I guess they have
though.
to show it out loud, but it's so annoying. Catherine asked him, have you ever dated a hearing girl before? Well, she says, can I ask you some very personal questions? Have you ever dated a hearing girl before? And then Emma signs no, and then she out loud says, no. We know.
We know.
We know what he's saying, guys. And then she asks him if she's ever dated Daphne, and he's like, no.
Also, he's really polite about correcting. She signs date with F's.
And he corrects it, and she's like, oh, thank you.
Yeah.
And then Catherine's like, well, I'm glad you're dating Bay because I never liked her ex, Ty. And Emmett's like, you can see he's feigning recognition. He's like, oh yeah, Ty. Yeah, I know.
But did he just forget? Because he totally acts like he doesn't remember that they dated. But
I don't think he
know.
realized how serious they were. But even then, they weren't serious. No. Bay later says they weren't even together a month.
Well, we're going to get there because that really threw off my timeline.
Yeah. And then Catherine's like, I was relieved when he left to fight in a needless war.
My problematic queen.
Basically. And she was so sad and heartbroken when Ty left, but then you came along. And then Emma is kind of weirded out by this.
Yeah. He seems very upset.
And he will be upset and a little brat for the rest of the episode.
So then he goes out and he finds Bay, who is going through her past work because Regina has told her about this gallery guy.
Yes.
And I'm sorry, I just don't have a lot of patience for Bay about her art right now. She's annoying about her being this one speaks for itself, but this one I could talk a lot about. Blah,
but
blah,
also, maybe they don't want that.
Yeah.
And then
okay,
Emmett
girl.
is not in the mood, and he's like, they're all good.
I wasn't either. He does say something shitty, though.
Well,
really
she says, I'm so excited. She's getting ahead of herself. Yeah. I think also maybe Regina should have warned her. We don't see Regina telling Bay the gallery owner is coming.
Yeah.
Because Bay seems to get her hopes up, and she's like, oh my god, he could be showing my art. So she's like, there could be an opening with reviews. And Emma goes, well, sometimes reviews are bad. It's so mean.
Just communicate.
And then Bay even says, what's up? And he's like, nothing. I gotta go.
He loves to be nothing.
Brooding, bitchy face.
He loves to walk out of a situation.
Literally.
And then next scene, Daphne shows up to a random basketball court and she's like, oh my god, Simone, you texted me. It seemed urgent. What's going on? And Simone has hired, is this a real person?
No.
Okay.
I Googled it.
Thank you. Simone has hired Lottie McComb, a fictional basketball player, to coach them.
Yeah, she's the basketball coach for UMKC.
Yeah. And maybe played in the WNBA or no, maybe played for Stanford?
She used to play for Stanford.
Okay. Just a random lady. She doesn't even get lines.
Yeah. Daphne says, that's amazing, thank you, but I can't afford this. And Simone goes, don't worry. Because remember that watch I thought that was stolen? I found it in my jacket, but then my dad already bought me a new one, so I just decided to sell it. And that's why I can afford these lessons. And Daphne is like, well, we should tell the coach because everyone thinks Monica and the East Riverside girl stole it. And Simone's like, nah, don't worry about it. This is going to come up again later.
Should we just jump ahead to it? The next scene with Daphne and Simone, they're at Buckner having lunch, I guess. Again, I don't know why Daphne's always here. And
yeah, I don't know.
Monica approaches them, and Daphne's like, what are you doing here, girlie? Actually, it doesn't...
I don't know why Monica's there.
I guess she came to tell Daphne because she's hoping Daphne can do something.
Yeah, because she's like, we are now banned from practicing at the gym because of the accusations that we stole the watch.
Yeah.
And Daphne's about to say, well, oh, don't worry, the watch wasn't stolen, but Simone is giving her evil eyes.
Yeah.
Like, shut up. Simone does not give a fuck.
And then Monica's basically like, don't worry about it. It's not your fault.
Yeah.
And she, like, walks away. And then Daphne turns to Simone and is like, okay, we have to say something. And Simone's basically just like, no, we don't.
She genuinely scared me in this scene, honestly.
Yeah, she's scary. She's evil.
Okay, let's rewind now. Oh, yeah, there's this, like, B-side plot with John and Toby trying to bond.
Oh, yeah.
So John goes to Toby in his music room, and to try to get them to bond, he invites him to, like, a charity baseball hit fest, where they basically just hit baseballs. Hit baseballs.
Baseball is so boring, you guys.
It's fun to hit, though.
To watch a guy hit for like 2 hours at this
that's
charity event? Why?
But it's to save the puppies.
So he's like, come on. And Toby's like, I have to practice.
And John is very dismissive of this.
Yeah.
He's like, who cares? We have to save the puppies and play baseball. And Toby's like, fine. Okay.
Here's my hot take.
What?
John's basically going to go on a journey of accepting that Toby's music ambitions are valid and real and supporting his career.
Yes.
Right? Through this episode. I think it's perfectly fine for him to not think that his random privileged son from Mission Hills is going to become like a rock star.
Sure.
I think it's okay. I don't know. Toby's like, you don't support me, Dad. He did build him a music studio in the garage.
Yes, but then Toby later says, like, did you not think this was serious because you gave me a garage so I could build a music studio, and I practice every day.
I don't know. I think it's important to remember who the Kenishes are. Also, he sold a bunch of his fancy amps that they bought him to pay off his gambling debts. Like, he is just a teenage boy. I don't know. I think if I was John, I also would be like, that's nice, honey. Good for you.
Fair. Yeah, that's fair.
Like, it's just him and Wilkie in this band. Like, Wilkie's not a serious person.
No, he's not.
I'm happy they get to the place they get to where he's more supportive.
I was going to say baseball isn't that serious either, but I guess it's different when your father was in the industry and made a career out of it.
I mean, yeah, he says later, like, the reason I feel like sports is a more realistic path for you is because I can help you.
Yeah. Nepo baby, which is fine.
And Toby's like, I don't need help. First of all, Toby, you let your rich parents build you a giant studio and buy you every single amp in the world. And then you let your girlfriend get you a bunch of gigs. So you do need help.
Yeah.
You are just like a 17-year-old rich boy.
It's fine to have help.
It's fine.
Yeah.
But I think it's also fine for John to be like, okay, I don't think you're going to be the next John Mayer.
Yeah.
I don't know. What is he writing
I just
about?
Don't know if he needs to say that to Toby.
No. But he doesn't say that. He just says like, I don't know, man. I thought it was just like a hobby. Whatever.
Do you know who is making meaningful art, though?
Bae, kind of. Although we have to look at the man painting again.
Yeah. Bae is showing her artwork to the gallery owner, Patrick, and he seems very disinterested. He's like, that's nice, honey. She shows him the man portrait, and he says, this is kind of a twist on Jenny Holzer. Reference to the title of the episode, guys. He does not give a shit, though. I think he's just doing this to get close to Regina.
Yeah, it's a bummer scene because she's like
so
really
excited
trying to show off Bae's work, and he's definitely just hitting on her.
Bae is so excited. Regina's like, do you like my daughter's art? And then he's like, do you want to go on a date?
He says, I want to try Kansas City barbecue, which so do I. I think it's pretty red meat forward. So
well, the name of the place is Alabama Owls, so maybe it's not Kansas City barbecue. It's Alabama.
No, Casey's just weird like that, I think.
Okay. It's hit fest time.
Oh, yeah.
John is...
hot.
He's hot. He starts batting, and his age is showing because he misses, like, the first 2 swings.
I didn't even clock that. I was like, wow, he looks sexy.
Yeah. But then he starts hitting those balls out of the park. Great job. And then Toby comes up, and it's very Ryan Evans from High School Musical, too.
Yes. Step up to the plate and start swinging. Oh, my God. And he's so good.
He is home runs.
Yeah, he's hitting all of them.
Yeah, everyone is in awe, including John. I'm going to actually wrap this plot up. John and Toby then come home from the Hit Fest, and John is like, you hit every ball out of the park. Why are you wasting your talent? You are so good.
Yeah.
Also, baseball is more than just being able to hit a ball out of the park. You need to be able to do a lot of other things. But
That's true.
But Toby's like, well, I quit because there was so much pressure on me to be a good baseball player like my father.
Understandable.
Very understandable. But then John tells him, like, you threw that away for nothing.
And Toby's like, not for nothing. I have my music career.
God, Dad.
You see what I mean, though? I'm a little
I know. It's like, it's such the stereotypical, like, coming-of-age plot. Like,
Yeah.
It's not my dream, Dad. It's yours.
Yeah. It's literally Troy Bolton.
Yeah.
He's the Troy Bolton in this universe.
The High School Musical parallels.
Oh, my God.
And then...
And he just wants to sing.
But then later, after they do, like, the family photo shoot, John approaches Toby. And he's like... He comes to a realization.
And this is really sweet that he says, like...
I want tickets.
I got tickets to the event you're playing. I'm wondering if you can get us floor passes. And Toby's like, it's not that kind of show. And John's like, oh, I didn't know. And he like looks kind of embarrassed. And then he's like, I just want to be able to help you. And I don't have any connections in this world, so I can't help you. And that's when Toby says, I don't need your help. And I'm like, that's my issue that I have. He should have just said, like, it's okay, Dad. Like, you've helped me enough. You've helped me financially beyond what most of the population would get.
I know. And then at the end, Toby strums on his guitar in the musical montage while John looks from afar in admiration.
Yeah.
So that's kind of the end of that plot.
Yeah, that's the end of that plot.
Okay.
Wrapped it up. Patrick comes back to take Regina out on a date. Regina basically agrees to go on the date.
Is it the same day?
It's unclear if it's the same day, but what's kind of shady to me is that he doesn't say how he feels about Bay's artwork until...
Like they're about to go out.
Yeah. And like he waits until she says yes to the date. I feel that Regina only said yes to the date. To hopefully encourage him to, like, you know what I mean?
I get it.
Kind of felt like a quid pro quo moment. Like,
I know. And it doesn't work.
And it doesn't work. And so he comes upstairs and then Adriana shows up.
Yes.
And does what Regina did to Bay to Regina, basically. And is like, oh, well, you need to look at Regina's work.
And Patrick's like, she paints too?
Because Regina didn't mention it. And she picks up this one piece in particular that is kind of giving Phoebe Bridgers' album cover.
That's exactly what I wrote down.
Yeah.
Danny.
Like the colors are exact.
It's like dark blue, ombre to red.
Yeah. I'm going to look it up actually. I'll post it on the Instagram, guys, for reference. We'll do a slide-by-slide comparison.
That is exactly what I wrote down.
It's a cool piece.
And then Regina later is going to say, like, it's a piece about sobriety and that the broken glass are liquor bottles.
Yes. And, okay, I'm being such a hater with this episode and, like, all the art that these characters are making. And I know it's hard to write good art. I know that famously is a thing, that it's hard when someone's an artist in a show or movie to then show the art is, like, very difficult. That being said, Patrick, I think he just wants to sleep with her. He keeps pushing, like, your voice is so unique. He's like, I want someone who has something unique to say. And the thing he's talking about is that Regina is an alcoholic.
I think Bay being switched at birth is quite unique.
I agree. I don't know why. I don't think they tell Patrick that, though.
They don't. But so that's a great story.
I know, you need to sell that angle.
I was like, no offense, lots of artists are alcoholics.
Well, that was my thought process when he was like, it's just so unique. I'm like, I do not think Regina is the first or the last person to repurpose broken glass from alcohol bottles into their art.
It's a cool piece, but cool. I don't know. I was subjective, but I was just like, I don't know that one's being shown in a gallery.
The amount of emphasis that is put on how unique it is and how unique her voice is just like very silly to me.
Anyways, also Patrick steps out when Adriana comes in.
Yeah.
And Adriana and Regina make amends. They apologize to each other, and she decides to move back in.
Adriana says, I may have overstepped.
Maybe.
Maybe just a little.
Yeah. Sorry about that. Then, after the scary Simone scene, Bay's in the library, and Daphne approaches. She's wearing stripes again, blue and gray stripes. And then Daphne's like, can you please tell me what happened between you and Simone?
And can I call out, Bay is now pretty proficient in sign language, I would say.
Yes.
They are in the library, surrounded by people that could eavesdrop on them.
Speaking.
And they are simcomming.
I know. And it's quite a sensitive story.
It's a sensitive story involving people
who used to go to that school.
Yeah, people at that school would know. And they're in a library, so no one else is speaking.
I know.
Just pipe down. Just shut it. Like, you don't.
Do you want to share the story Bae shares?
Oh, it's so sad. Okay, so basically, Bae and Simone were evil 8th graders.
Yes.
And there was this weird girl at school that everyone made fun of.
Named Alicia.
And her skirt was too long, and she had these, like...
She had barrettes.
Barrettes in her hair, whatever. Sounds kind of cute. And Simone convinced Bae that they should give her a makeover. Mm-hmm. And she really wanted to be friends with them. She was just, like, desperate to have friends. So they invited her over, and then they convinced her to tell them who she had a crush on, and then convinced her that she should practice asking him out on camera. And then after she left, Bae was like, we need to delete this. Like, this is humiliating. And suddenly she had a conscience. And Simone instead sent it around to the whole school. And
it sounds like she posted it on YouTube or something.
And then it went from school to school.
And then Alicia dropped out. She left the school.
And maybe moved out of town completely.
Yeah, and Bae, you can tell she still feels immense guilt about it.
Yeah, she says, like, I feel sick about it every day. And basically just that her and Simone weren't really friends after that. Mm-hmm. But also she doesn't imply that it was, like, a big falling out.
It just seems like they fade away.
Back. Yeah. And then she says Simone is not someone you want as an enemy, but you also don't want her as a friend.
Yes. Yeah, that story was quite upsetting.
A couple of things. How does Toby not know about this?
Yeah, he must have seen the video. Maybe he didn't, like, associate with Bae and Simone.
He didn't know.
They don't know who posted
it and stuff. But, like, clearly Bae's parents don't know about this.
No.
I just am intrigued also by the fact that, are they sophomores or juniors? They must be sophomores.
They're 16. Yeah, I don't know.
So probably
do they start applying to colleges next season? Or is it the season after?
Well, I don't know.
Let's say sophomores.
Let's say sophomores because maybe Toby's a junior or a senior.
Yeah.
So this happened, 2 years ago?
Recent, yeah.
God, that's crazy that there's only 2 years between 8th grade and sophomore year.
What can happen?
That means for the last 2 years, Bae has been lying about continuing to be friends with Simone to her parents.
Yes.
Because she still uses Simone as an excuse all the time.
To sneak out of the house and just do it.
So John and Catherine haven't seen Simone in 2 years.
That's true. They must be, like, such absent parents from the 80s.
I guess so.
That was such, like, a mean girl story. It, like,
I know.
hurt my heart.
And also, like, I know in 8th grade people are different, and I know she feels bad about it, but, like, Bae, you shouldn't have gone along with that.
Yeah, at least there did come a point where she was like, we have to stop.
Yeah. But anyway, Simone is evil.
Yeah, Simone is...
Confirmed.
Evil. We hate her. Okay. Regina and Patrick are on their barbecue date at Alabama House. Regina then at the scene asks his opinion on Bae's work, and he's like, she's good, I guess. She's talented for her age, but she just needs more time and experience. But he's like, I loved your Phoebe Bridgers Punisher painting, though. Obsessed with the Punisher painting.
Obsessed.
And Regina shares that, it's about my sobriety. And he goes, perfect. You went through something, and that shows in your art. And then, like I said before, I wrote, like, Bae also went through something even more unique than alcoholism. Yeah. Not to trivialize the struggles of being an alcoholic.
No, but, like, Bae's man portrait is about her missing biological father.
Because she was switched at birth.
I think they're not marketing her well enough.
No.
She needs, like, an agent.
She needs an agent that's not Regina. But anyways, Patrick's like, love your Punisher art. I want it in my next show. Then, next scene, Bae comes to Regina, and she's like, oh my God, how'd it go? What did Patrick say about my art? What's the feedback? And Regina's like, so sorry, but he is not going to be showing your work. And Bae seems to have really gotten her hopes up here. She is heartbroken.
Yeah, she's so upset. What happened here?
Like, something's missing, because I'm wondering, did Regina say, like, a gallery owner is coming and he's looking to show art and that art could be yours? But I think she should have framed it as a gallery
give
owner's
some
coming,
thoughts
and I thought it'd be good for him to look and give you feedback.
Yeah.
But that doesn't seem to be how she framed it.
He also doesn't give her feedback, though.
No, not at all. He doesn't give her anything.
No.
But we also don't know what Regina told Bay.
No, but let's just jump ahead, because then later in the episode, Catherine yells at Regina, basically, about exposing Bay to this kind of criticism. And she basically says we should be lifting her up, not, not flattening her. And Regina says, like, what do you think the world is going to be like?
Yeah, feedback is good for artists.
For a young artist. Like, she's going to get criticism, and she should learn to deal with that now. And so I think this is also evidence of, like, Regina assuming that Bay can handle it, but Bay has grown up literally in a bubble. Much like, this calls back to me saying, like, Toby's music career isn't serious because he isn't fucking, like, taking risks or doing things beyond, like, playing his mom's fundraiser.
Right.
Which is not, like, that does not make your band real because your mom books you for a fundraiser.
Right.
And that's sort of his vibe. And Bay has her street art, but that's, like, private, and no one's critiquing that, really. She's not hearing the feedback there because it's, like, a different form.
But she's also not hearing the feedback from Patrick.
No, she's not, so it's just the sting of rejection.
Yes.
But, like, Regina's right that she needs to get used to being rejected because she's about to be in the arts, and that's hard. And Catherine is like, no, like, she doesn't need to be exposed to that. Yes, she does. Clearly she does, because she has a full-blown meltdown about the fact that this guy doesn't want to show her work.
And then Regina says, I'm proud of her for showing her art. Like, it must have been scary. And she got rejected, and that's going to happen. Yeah.
That's going to happen. So, yeah. But I think this does push Catherine, because Catherine has been struggling with her book this whole episode.
Yes.
And she is going to end the episode by finally allowing John to read her book proposal.
Yes.
And for a minute there, she was like, maybe no one will read this book proposal, and I'll just keep it to myself.
Yeah, she was like, maybe I'll never publish it, and I'll just let Sarah Lazar do it.
Yeah, but I think that Regina being like, no, the world is scary, and you have to just do it anyway, really pushes her to be like, okay, I'm scared of rejection too, but I will do it.
Thank you, Regina.
Yeah.
Yeah, point for Regina in that scene. I agree with everything she said.
And then Catherine's response to her is, please don't, they're doing laundry for reference. And she goes, please don't use those kinds of dryer sheets. They ruin the machine.
Yeah, she can't think of a good comeback, so she's like, pick different dryer sheets, please. And she says it so feebly. Okay, next scene, Daphne's at Buckner, and she goes to the coach, who we hate, to tell him, by the way, the watch was found. But Simone has beat her to the punch. Because the coach is like,
this is so evil.
I knew about this. Because Simone told me that selling the watch was both your idea, and using that money to hire the basketball coach was both your idea. And she's trying to defend herself, and he will not let her get a word in edgewise. I hate him.
So she finally snaps.
He goes, I put you on this team for a reason.
And she said, you put me on this team so you could get the money because I am deaf.
And then silence.
And then he says, okay, we should start clean. We should start fresh.
I was so proud of her for saying that.
Yeah, finally.
Standing up for herself.
Yeah.
She's like, you don't give a shit about me, actually. Mm-hmm. And you suck. And then he's like,
yeah, fair.
Yeah, and then he's like, fine, we're going to do a new round of tryouts. You're going to go against Simone for point guard.
This is so petty.
Yeah, like, that was crazy.
He has no reason to do that except to be like, fuck you.
Hate this coach. Fire him.
Yeah, why is he playing with teenage girls' lives like this?
Why is he going in the locker room and messing up their lives?
Why is he feeding the drama?
I don't know. Fuck this guy. Emma comes to see Bay, and Bay, again, is having a crash out.
Bay is crashing out. She's making a new piece of Axe Girl art that she says she's going to put up across the street from this guy's gallery as like a fuck you to him. I thought that she was no longer going to be doing... She's not like a projection. She's going to spray paint it up.
Yes.
I thought that she learned from Emmett's situation to not do this anymore.
I think she's going to continue doing it. But then she stupidly invites him.
Yeah.
And then he's like, no, I got arrested and I lost my motorcycle. Why would I do that?
What he says, because he's pissed at her. So first they fight about Ty. And
yes.
He's like, I thought it wasn't that serious. And she was like, it wasn't. It was only for like a month.
Yes. And she says, I didn't sleep with him. I'm still a vegetable. The vegetable reference comes up again.
And he's like really bothered by it still. Whatever. I don't really understand why. Catherine, all she said was like, Bae was heartbroken. And Bae says to Emmett, you knew that I was still into him when you kissed me.
Yeah.
Because we literally, like, our whole friendship foundation was built on the fact that she was upset over Ty leaving.
Yeah, all Catherine said was, I like you and you make my daughter happy.
Yeah, and that she seemed heartbroken when Ty left, which, like, a mom doesn't always know. Like, Catherine could be wrong, too. Like, Catherine could be, I mean, she wasn't in this instant, but, like, it's frustrating that Emmett takes her word over Bae's. And so then he's like, whatever, I'll get over it. And she's like, okay, do you want to come with me to put up this piece? And he goes, your street art already cost me my motorcycle, so no. Which is fucked up to say to her. I thought we decided collectively as a show society that Emmett's choices were his own.
Yes.
Mostly.
For the most part, yes.
For the most part. Bae played a part, but it's fucked up of him to throw that in her face. Even though I think what she's doing is stupid.
And I think she should not invite him.
No, and I think she shouldn't invite him. I don't think you need to say, no, because you already cost me my motorcycle.
It also drove me crazy when Bae is trying to explain herself about Ty, and he just looks at her and goes, okay. I hate when I'm arguing.
Off.
I hate when I'm trying to talk to someone and they just give me one word answers. Okay, fine.
It makes me so mad.
And then he leaves again.
And then he fucking leaves again. Like, why were you even there?
I think also the running plot in this, too, is that he's very unhappy living with his dad.
Yes.
He's not really expressing that, but you see hints of it. Like, he's hungry. His parents are never there. He even says in the scene, like, Cameron and Olivia are never home.
Yeah, she says, how did you get away?
And he's like, well, they're never home, so...
They're not even there.
Yeah. So he's missing a family. And he also has that resentment, I think. But Emmett, stop it.
It's pissing me off.
Okay, now we're back at Buckner, and Simone confronts Daphne about them going up against each other for point guard. And she goes, after all I've done for you, like hiring that basketball coach.
Girl, fuck you.
And
she's like, you knew you couldn't post up. You were worried about posting up. So
I know.
now you're taking my spot.
Well, she's really afraid of Daphne beating her because she knows Daphne's better than her.
Daphne's better at basketball.
Yeah.
And then she starts fucking making comments about Daphne being deaf.
Well, Daphne's like, you told the coach that selling the watch was also my idea. And then Simone goes, well, you probably misunderstood. He doesn't move his lips a lot when he speaks. I wanted to push her off a
I would
cliff.
have thrown hands.
I had someone say that to me once in high school.
Dude.
We were playing tennis together, and the fight was about something else. But then she was like, well, maybe you didn't hear. And I was like, don't use that against me.
Oh my God.
I was furious for a week after.
Do you remember what the fight was about?
I played varsity tennis, and what happened was, for every game, someone had to bring food to feed the team. And apparently it was my turn, but I wasn't aware of that. I was supposed to do it for one game, but then the game was postponed or canceled because of rain or whatever. And then this game comes up, and this girl comes up to me, and she's like, where's the food? And I was like, I was not aware of that. I was supposed to feed the team, but I'll go get pizza right now. And she's like, no, it's too late. Everyone's going to be hungry and play poorly because of you. And then I was like, it does not say in the schedule with my name on it. Like,
yeah.
No one texted me prior, because usually that was like, she was the captain, so she was supposed to text and be like, by the way, bring sandwiches or pizza tomorrow.
Okay. So what I'm hearing is it was her fault.
And then she was like, well, I mentioned it last week, so maybe you didn't hear.
Girl.
And I was like,
so she was trying
fuck you.
Yeah. Trying to cover for the fact that she forgot to text you.
Yes. I think that's what happened.
I'm sorry.
Yeah. I was furious. And then I had to call my poor mother to come out of the office and like frantically buy sandwiches. So the team did get fed.
Yeah.
Just a little later than usual. But whatever.
They survived.
They survived. Anyway, Bae tags the wall.
Bae tags the wall.
She's back in the art studio, and Patrick comes in to give her something from a Jenny Holzer exhibit that he
it's like
did, the catalog. And Bae, not so subtly, is like, is your gallery on the street? Because I saw this really cool piece of street art across the street. And he's like, yeah.
Thought I left the Banksy wannabes back in New York.
Ouch.
He's not a fan. And so then maybe for Bae, I would hope that would tell her, like, okay, this guy's not going to like the kind of stuff that I really want to do anyway.
Yeah. But
That's
instead,
okay.
she keeps pushing it. Well, then he goes back to Regina, and he's like, again, I need your Phoebe Bridgers Punisher piece in my show.
He needs it.
And Regina's like, thank you, but if I do, it's going to hurt Bae's feelings. He's like, why would you both not do it instead of only have one of you do it? Like, what?
Yeah.
How does that benefit either of you to not have your piece in there? And then Regina's like, putting myself out there.
Interesting.
This episode is all about putting yourself out there. Now it's b-ball time.
I just wrote, not a basketball showdown. And then I honestly tuned out because I knew.
Well, Simone has the ball and she says to Daphne, do you want me to tell you when he blows the whistle? I'm going to throw this basketball in her face.
But Daphne responds so cunty. She goes, no, because he'll blow it again when I score on you.
Yeah.
Pretty good.
And
Pretty good back talk.
She kicks her ass.
Yeah.
So Daphne gets the position. Yay. Then Regina goes up to Bay in her bedroom and she confesses Patrick is going to be putting a piece of my work in the show.
Yeah.
And Bay immediately
feels so betrayed.
She accuses Regina of moving on from Angelo so fast. Fair. He just left.
Totally fair. Regina's response is, he left us again. No, he didn't.
I'm wondering...
I'm pretty sure he was deported.
No,
we don't know.
We don't know. Because I was like, did she just drop to the audience that he left again because he was confronted about being a fugitive? He got scared and left?
She said, that man walked out on us again. And I'm like, I don't think he walked out. I think he was dragged out. Genuinely.
Right.
Like, unless has some secret knowledge that we don't have.
I know.
Honestly, I think Regina is still jealous over learning that he had a fiance in Italy like 2 years ago.
Right, so she's like, I'm gonna go out and date this Gallaudet.
Yeah, I think Angela does not bring out the best in her.
No.
So, yeah. And then as they're fighting, Catherine walks in and is like, hey guys, it's time for the family portrait. This is so funny because Catherine can hear them. She's not deaf. She can hear them fighting.
Yeah.
Like, if they wanted to do that bit, they should have sent Daphne. But Catherine fully knows that they're fighting. And just is like, portrait? It's time.
It's time. Emmett set up the camera.
Also, I like that they chose to do this scene in complete silence.
Yes, it's through Emmett's point of view.
Yeah.
Yeah, Emmett's taking a lot of candidates. Kind of weird, but a lot of nice portraits do come out of it.
You know that I don't love Emmett's photography style.
I know. But yeah, they do it from his point of view, so there's no audio. But you can see, like, the yearning in his face that he misses and wants a family. I also want to note that because there's no sound, you can see, like, the growing closeness of the family unit.
Yeah.
It was cool.
It's really nice. And then after the photo, Daphne tells John that she got the slot.
He's like, yay!
Yeah.
Then Bay approaches Emmett as he's cleaning up the camera equipment, but he leaves the room without a word. Again, what?
He's being so emo. Like, I would be so embarrassed if my boyfriend was acting this way in
front of my family. I know. And then she's like, did something happen? I'm sorry if my family's embarrassing. And he's like, stop. Your family is amazing, and I would be lucky to have a family like that. And then he goes, my parents fell out of love with each other. Are we gonna fall out of love?
The first thing I wrote was, well, yes, because you are 16. But then second, aw.
And Bay goes, did you just say love? Wait, let me focus on your feelings.
Yeah. And he was like, no, what? And she was like, well, you said fall out of love.
So does that mean you're in love with me?
And he says, like, yes, I am. Okay. He's been acting like such a bitch this whole episode.
I know.
It's frustrating that this is the moment that he chooses to then be like, and I love you.
And then she says it back. And it's...
the big L.
I know, the big L. Don't drop the big L right now.
He dropped the big L.
But it just didn't seem warranted.
No. It also feels too soon.
No one expressed any love for each other in the scene, or even the past few episodes, actually.
Yeah, they've been fighting for 2 episodes. They didn't really resolve the fighting in this episode. Well, whatever. They're teenagers.
Yeah.
So, yeah, he drops the big L, and then we get a montage to play us out of this episode, which is, I think, a first.
Yes, we get a little music montage. So we have Catherine giving John her book proposal. Mm-hmm. I thought it was the actual book, and I was like, why is it only 2 pages long? And then I realized, oh, wait, it's the book proposal. Okay. Regina opens her phone and realizes she has a missed call from Angela.
Huge. Toby
strums his guitar, and John looks from afar wistfully and with admiration in his eyes that he didn't have before. Mm-hmm. It's a new kind of admiration. Emmett is looking through the family portrait pics that he just took. And then he texts his mom.
Yeah.
That I really liked.
I liked that too, but the text was so formal. Hi, Mom. How are you?
That's how I text my mom.
Is that how you text your mom?
I think so.
Oh, that is not how I'm texting my mom.
My mom loves emojis, though, so I think I'll throw an emoji in.
That would feel better. I think that would soften it.
Yeah. My mom every morning goes, good morning, and then she does the chickens emojis.
She texts you every morning?
Every morning.
That is so sweet.
In the family group chat. Oh, and then the last part of the montage is Simone walks past Daphne at Buckner and gives her the evil eyes. So I feel that she's going to have some kind of revenge in store for Daphne.
And she's maybe walking with other basketball teammates. So the implication is like that the rest of the team is also going to be mad at her now.
Oh, man. Now looking forward to that.
No. And that's the end of the episode, guys.
Daphne should push Simone off a cliff. That'd be a fun twist.
I feel like if she revealed now that Simone was the one that uploaded that video, like in high school, that's not a cool thing to do. Like, I understand middle schoolers are evil, but in high school, if you're revealed to be an evil person, I feel like people take note.
Yeah, they'd be like, that's actually really fucking mean. What the hell? Especially now, I would say, like...
Even back then, though, like, I feel like by high school, people were like, we don't bully people. That's fucking weird.
Lame.
Like, why would you just ignore them if you don't like them?
I think, I was going to say, though, especially now where we know the power and the prominency of the internet.
Yeah.
Now that's, like, extremely uncool, I would say.
I just cannot believe that no one said anything to Toby. Like, I know Bae said something to Toby.
Toby doesn't know. He's just like the ex-friends.
The fact that Bae hasn't been like, no, she did this really evil thing. Like, you need to be careful.
I don't know if I would tell my brother.
I fucking would.
I don't have an older brother. I don't have any older siblings, though, so the relationship is different.
That's true. Yeah, if someone wronged me and then my brother started dating them, I'd be like, hello.
Oh, that's right. I forget they're dating.
Yeah.
We don't see Toby and Simone interact at all this episode.
No. But they just agreed that they're back together.
Right. Yeah, that's true. I would say, I don't know. I don't think who you are now is your reflection of who you are at 14, but it might be good to warn her, especially since she's still a bitch now and a bitch to his sister, Daphne. Anyways, fun episode.
Fun episode. A lot of basketball.
I'm so sorry you had to go through that.
It's okay. I'll survive.
Well, thank you for listening.
Thanks for listening, guys.
We'll see you next week.
See you next week.
Bye.
Bye.